happy to say I can see, as you can see here, a lot of you try to fill in the sketch. You see that? Which is a good thing. But how am I checking the sketches? Now, I think some of you also try to group things. For example, just a brief review of what we did last week. When I group an item, all items and lines, I'm able to quickly select it, and I can move it around all at once. We did this, correct? Yeah. Okay. There might be a reason that something's locked. So if you're grouping that's not working, either you are in different layers for some reason, or something's locked, or I just need to look at what happened exactly, how you grouped it and how you selected it. But usually it works. So for example, the other part too that we reviewed was, if I double click, I'm isolating. How do we know we're isolating? Look at my top bar. That's a grayed out area. So I can double click and look. This is also grouped. Good job, Maylin. This is a good one. So this is, I can isolate it. Even if I double click on this line, it's still isolated. You notice? I'm going into the group. Isolate, and not only that, if you look at the top, it tells you exactly the address, like which group it is. If I want to go back all the way to the beginning of the group, I can do that with any line. So I think some of you had some difficulty maybe selecting a point. If I isolate a line, I'm able to quickly just select it without any of the other lines getting in my way. So try to get used to isolating and grouping as you go. Now, don't overgroup, because that also gets annoying too. And you'll notice what I mean by that. So this is really well done. Thank you, Malin. And then we have another one I wanted to show you was Milo's. So this is Milo's. He did a very different pant. The only comment that I have for this one is to make sure to put the rise seam. This is the rise, guys. Okay? You need to figure out how to, while you sketch, you need to start thinking how she's gonna get in, or he, whomever. Because pants, even though they're stretchy, okay, if that's stretchy pant, then it needs to be elastic waistband, correct? This is not an elastic waistband. The elastic waistband will be closer to this, a wavy waistband, okay? So those kinds of things. I know it's not the fun part of fashion design, but most flats are being used in everywhere. Like I mentioned, 90% of the time, this is how you'll be sketching. Especially for presentations to buyers. They want to see flat sketches. It's just easiest for them. It's the standard. So I'm going to show you something. So you see how he drew every little line here for the cuff? There's a way to do it without only a line, meaning, you see the difference? This is one line. And this is, let me show you again. This is many lines all together, and this is one line, one stroke. How do we do that? I'll show you. It's the same steps that you guys do for top stitching. So let's just say you want to do a little rib bottom. Okay, let me just draw really quickly. Oh, sorry. Let me draw really quickly a top for you guys to visualize what I mean. Let's just say you want a beautiful, cute little vest. Okay, that's as good as it gets right now. You want a beautiful vest, correct? And I just want to do the rib part of it. Okay? Meaning this section at the bottom. I'm not going to draw one by one because this takes too long. Think about it. I will have to duplicate this a lot. That's too much work, correct? So how do I do that? You go make one line, go to strokes, put dashed, And if I change my weight to a 18, do you notice what just happened? Let me do it again. If I change my weight to even a 12, but I keep the same distance, I'm not changing my dash or my gap. My dash and my gap are about the same width. You notice I'm already creating a rib, and I can control the height of that rib by the weight. Ta-da! And that's it. Now, it's easier for me to change colors. It's easy for me to even, if I want to draw with this, look, I can even draw with it. I can do curves, I can do everything. I can even do, let's just say I want to do the armholes of this. I just create the armhole, but this is too big. So what I do is, I just do maybe like a 4, and I want the gap to be wider, because now this is more on technical side of fashion design. When it comes to ribs around armholes, usually it's not really tight, because you need certain, it needs to fit better. It cannot fit, like you need to move your arms basically. So let's just put the gap maybe at 2. I click on the gap size on the stroke panel and done. That's how you go about with doing ribs and sweaters. I know it's you're not drawing line by line. You're just doing the stroke, making your weight bigger, and just playing with your dashes. You see that difference now? I'm able to move this anywhere. I'm able to make it curvy, not curvy, and all that stuff. Okay, guys? We're not doing masking. Masking is meaning, you notice something in Illustrator that when you start drawing things, because of your edge, it might be hanging off the page, correct? But you cannot, unlike Photoshop, you can erase it. In Illustrator, you cannot. You can do masking, but that will be after we come back for the break. We'll do more, really much more patterns and prints and filling in the sketches and all that stuff, okay? Okay. So that's that, I think, for the homework. Good job, everyone. Good practice. Like even this one, too. Getting used to finishing things. Perfect. Okay. Don't save. Okay, so let me